What if I told you that Dallas just made a move that could reshape the way our neighborhoods look, feel, and grow without building a single high rise? Imagine streets where duplexes, triplexes, and charming fourplexes quietly blend into the fabric of residential life, offering new possibilities for renters, families, and even small-scale developers. It's not just about housing, it's about access, opportunity, and rethinking what kind of city we want to live in. Stick with me until the end because I'll share how this shift connects to my own experiences in Cleveland and Los Angeles, and why this change is more than just policy, it's personal. Hi there, I'm Megan Johnson, broker realtor with Modernest Realty, proudly serving the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Today, we're diving into something that could quietly revolutionize how our city grows and who gets to call it home. But this isn't your typical market update or zoning explainer. It's about an overdue shift in what our communities are allowed to become, and how a single policy decision can shape the lives of thousands. Dallas has just taken a step that urban planners and housing advocates have been hoping for. It's voted to ease restrictions on the development of what's often called missing middle housing. That includes duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and those modest apartment buildings of up to 6 units. But here's the real breakthrough. Dallas is also addressing the hidden barrier that made this type of housing so hard to build: the building code requirements. Until now, duplexes could be built using the simpler and less expensive residential building code. But the moment a third unit was added, whether it was a triplex, fourplex, or even a small 6-unit building, the entire project was required to meet commercial construction standards. Yes, the same complex and costly rules designed for office buildings and high-rises were being applied to modest housing. This included things like commercial-grade sprinkler systems, fire-resistant materials, and extensive accessibility infrastructure. All essential in a 20-story tower, but overwhelmingly and financially impractical for a 4-unit home on a residential street. This discrepancy created a stark and costly cliff for small-scale developers. It effectively made anything more than a duplex nearly impossible to build unless it was a large-scale, high-return development, excluding exactly the kind of incremental, neighborhood-friendly housing that makes communities more accessible and diverse. In real terms, it meant developers who might have wanted to build a triplex or a small courtyard building simply couldn't make the numbers work. The regulations didn't scale with the size of the project, unfortunately. The moment you stepped into that 3 or more units territory, the costs skyrocketed. So, the recent decision by Dallas to remove or significantly ease these commercial code requirements for small multifamily housing is a game changer. It not only unlocks zoning barriers, but dismantles a major financial roadblock that has long discouraged the construction of missing middle housing. This shift means developers can now realistically consider building triplexes, fourplexes, and modest-sized apartment buildings without being buried under costs designed for skyscrapers. This is where it gets personal for me. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, where duplexes and triplexes, as well as small unit apartment buildings, were as much a part of the landscape as corner stores and playgrounds. They weren't fancy, and many of them were old, but they were so functional, attainable, and were part of a real community fabric. Later in life, when I lived in Los Angeles, I came to appreciate the quiet charm of garden style apartments, those 4 to 6 unit buildings that felt almost like small communities unto themselves. Tucked into tree-lined streets, they offered a lifestyle that blended independence with accessibility for me and my neighbors. When I moved to Dallas, I was shocked and honestly a bit disappointed, especially in my field, to find so few of these housing types. The city felt like it was missing a layer, an important stepping stone for families, young professionals, and older adults alike who might not be ready to buy a home or don't want the maintenance burden, but still want to live in a neighborhood, not a high rise. That's why this policy shift from the city of Dallas feels so significant and personal for me. It opens the door to more inclusive neighborhood growth. It means we can start to welcome housing that fits in the middle, more than a house, less than an apartment complex. And it provides more opportunities for local developers and homeowners to build wealth while also serving the community. If someone owns a lot that's too large for a single home or has a deep backyard or side lot, they now have new possibilities to consider. From adding an accessory dwelling unit to building a small multi-unit structure. These are powerful tools for generational wealth and housing stability for our communities. It's also a move toward more resilient cities. Missing middle housing supports walkability, increases population density in sustainable ways, and often supports transit and local businesses. And while there will undoubtedly be debates and growing pains, Dallas has sent a strong message. The old zoning rules and building codes don't work anymore. We need a future where our housing stock reflects the needs of real people, not just legacy regulations. My hope is that the surrounding suburbs follow suit. Hello, Garland and Plano. And Mesquite. We work with clients every day in places like Plano, Garland, Richardson, and Arlington, areas that are facing the same pressures Dallas is. Rising prices, limited inventory, and a lack of starter homes or flexible rental options for families. If these cities can embrace similar reforms, we can start to reimagine the Metroplex as a more accessible and equitable place to live. So what does this mean for you? Whether you're a homeowner considering what to do with your property, an investor looking for new development options, or simply a resident who cares about how your neighborhood evolves, now is the time to pay attention. This policy shift could open up real opportunities to rethink your housing strategy, invest in long-term community value, or even explore adding units to your own land. I know I'll be doing the same. At Modern Est Realty, we specialize in understanding not just the market, but the zoning, design, and development opportunities that can help you thrive in a changing landscape. If you're curious how this affects your home or future plans, reach out to me and the team. We're here to guide you through it. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you lived in a duplex or a small apartment building before? Do you think these housing types could add value to your neighborhood? Drop a comment and let's start a conversation. And if you found this video and information helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a friend who's curious about the future of Dallas housing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.